had only postgraduate classes when I joined, but later on we found that the lack of feeding class for postgraduate education was there. There was a lack of feeding class. So we started on a school in English in our university at Fatehgarh, Sahib. I have been a very keen observer of nature, and I have documented about 300 odd birds in Punjab, visiting for butterflies, Baradari Gardens, Patiala, which is very rich in butterflies, and in fact, one particular species of butterfly, that is Indian Red Admiral, I documented here, and it had never been found earlier in Punjab. It had not been documented. So it is listed in a checklist of butterflies prepared by Peter Smitasek from Bhimtal.
Hello everyone, you're here with me Khushnasseb Kaur at Chitkara Bites, and we are here with Dr. Sawraj, who is the former head and professor, Department of English. So I know you have a career of 40 years, so could you please tell us about your experience?
At the very outset, I really thank you very much for this interview. Well, I do have a 40 years of teaching experience, there's no doubt about it. I started my teaching career from Multani Manbhuti College, Patiala in 1980, and in 1982 I joined a government job, and I was in different colleges of Punjab, but most of the time I spent in Government Mahindra College, Patiala, that is around 29 years. After my retirement from there in 2015, I was head Department of English and Dean Faculty of Languages at Sri Guru Granth Sahib World University for 5 years. So that completes 40 years.
And that is a very, I would say, a lavish career. So I would want to ask you your reviews on difference between private teaching and government teaching.
Well, so far as teaching is concerned, I think it is a continuum. Whether you are in a private college or you're in a government college or you are in a university, teaching is teaching. Obviously, the difference lies in the atmosphere. I found that the atmosphere in government colleges was much more liberal and much more democratic than it was in a private college. Though, when I was in private college, I was very happy with that also. And secondly, when I joined Government Mahindra College, it was a PG college. We had postgraduate classes also. And that obviously, and I'm in teaching postgraduate classes, gave me ample opportunities for career growth also, because I had to do a lot of hard work for that. And university is a different level altogether, because we had only postgraduate classes when I joined, but later on we found that the lack of feeding class for postgraduate education was there. There was a lack of feeding class. So we started on a school in English in our university at Fatehgarh, Sahib.
So did you continue with your further studies
Yeah.
in the same field or different field?
You see, the fact is that once you are a teacher, you have to keep updating your knowledge. Knowledge is something which never comes to an end. It is not that once you start teaching something, you will go on teaching the same thing for 40 years. We know how the syllabi change, we know how the courses change, and we know how the knowledge develops and grows. So you have to keep abreast of all the latest developments in your field. And keeping that in mind, I did MPhil while I was in job. I did my PhD also while I was in job. And I did MA Sociology also while I was in job. So I continued growing up that way. It was a part of my personal growth in the academic field. Apart from that, I was very deeply involved in research and lecturing as guest lecturer in different colleges. I have more than 70 papers published in different research journals, and I've done a lot of translation work. I could say with some pride that I'm an established translator by now, and I have worked on 2 projects of Sahitya Academy.
Yes, surely I have read a few papers, research paper of yours. So I would also want to know, other than all this educational thing, do you have any other interests that you feel have added to your interests in life, in like enjoyment or understanding in
Yeah,
life?
definitely.
So what are those?
I have been a very keen observer of nature
Hmm.
right from my childhood days onwards, and I have a lot of interest in nature photography also.
Hmm.
Uh, that continued, and it is still continuing. In fact, in post-retirement period, I am much more into it because I have time also. I rear butterflies at home.
Hmm.
I have taken pictures of their life cycle and made videos also. Not only that, I have shown them to in different colleges also during my lectures, and I have documented about 300 odd birds in Punjab.
Okay.
So that is something which interests me a lot. Photographing birds, watching butterflies. See, the fact is that we somehow, what I have learned from my interest in nature is that we always consider birds and butterflies and small insects as underlings. We tend to place ourselves at the top of creation, and we feel that we are the most intelligent animals in the world. But once you start paying attention to butterflies, you start paying attention to the life of the moths, of the birds, then you realize how limited your own intelligence is in comparison to different kind of intelligence which the birds have. We don't have any measures to don't have any scale actually to measure their intelligence. If we had a scale for measuring their intelligence, then perhaps we would find that there are birds which can hear much better than us, which can see in the dark, whereas we cannot see in the dark. And each bird actually reminds you of a dinosaur because they are descendants of dinosaurs and they have been here on this earth much longer than we have been on the earth. So, if survival is the criterion, and if we consider that survival of the fittest is the criterion, then birds have proved to be fitter as a species to survive. And secondly, what I have understood from my study of birds is that they do not plan anything for their own extinction the way we are doing. We have nuclear bombs, which can lead to the extinction of the entire human
Exactly.
life on the earth, but the birds don't do. They do eat other animals, they do eat insects, but only when they are hungry. They would not go hunting simply for the joy of doing it.
Yes.
So this is how I think my understanding of life has improved because of my nature study.
You just mentioned that you had taken 300 images of butterflies in Punjab. So I would want to ask you, what has been your best experience of capturing butterflies? Which place has been your favorite and the best one?
See, butterflies are in abundance almost everywhere, but especially in temperate zones. In fact, near Shivalik Hills, foothills. It's not 300 butterflies that I have documented. It's about 300 birds. Butterflies, about 115 in Punjab. Most of them are residents in other states, nearby states also. So there is hardly any butterfly in Punjab which is not to be found in Haryana, in Delhi, in nearby areas. Yes, there are certain butterflies which are migrants. They do migrate from other states, like from Uttarakhand. Right? As I've told you, the places that I have been visiting for butterflies, Baradari Gardens, Patiala, which is very rich in butterflies, and in fact, one particular species of butterfly, that is Indian Red Admiral, I documented here, and it had never been found earlier in Punjab. I mean, it had not been documented. So it is listed in a checklist of butterflies prepared by Peter Smitasek from Bhimtal. So that was one thing. And the best thing is that photographing butterflies and birds teaches you how to be patient with them.
Takes time.
I mean, you cannot really ask a butterfly to pose for you. They'll not give any
Exactly.
selfie. right? You cannot really do so with the birds also. And when you go out, there is a possibility that you keep sitting for hours together and the bird or the butterfly may not appear at all.
Yeah, exactly. And so this, I just asked you about the places that you've shot in. So could you just tell me a place that you would want to go to capture butterflies, where you feel ki there is some rare species or something?
Yeah, I would love to go to Uttarakhand once again. I've
Uttarakhand.
been there and I would love to go to the Western Ghats.
No place abroad?
Well, there are about 35 odd species only in England,
Okay.
right? So we have more than 1,300 in India.
Okay.
So India needs to be explored
More.
before that.
Yes.
I have been to England. I have not been to England, but I have been to Europe and I have taken some good pictures of a butterfly called gatekeeper in Holland. Right? It's not to be found here in India. But then the fact is that we have a lot of opportunities for taking pictures of butterflies in India, and I would like to explore those.
Yes, I would surely like to see those pictures of yours. And just last question I would like to ask, how do you feel right now after at this age, after your retirement, and now that you are doing all this photography, and I think you're still doing research.
Yeah.
And so how do you feel right now at this point of time, at this point of age of yours?
I'm enjoying my freedom. I wanted to be free like a bird, and that is what I'm doing now. I'm enjoying my freedom. I really love doing what I want to do. That's it.
Thank you so much. So we were here with Professor Sawraj Raj, and this was his journey, and I think something that nobody could have expected, an educationist who would have such keen interest in butterflies. So thank you, and keep watching Chitkara Bites.
Thank you.